Alex Bowman will miss his second consecutive race, with Hendrick Motorsports going in a different direction this time. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski gets candid in a rare podcast appearance. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove, presented by Tableau TV. With Tableau, you can watch, pause, and record races on Fox, NBC, the CW, and get access to many other channels as well. No monthly subscription. You can use code ELLIS to get $20 off at tableautv.com. Earlier today, my buddy Ryan Stevens dropped by to crunch the numbers ahead of this weekend's race at Las Vegas. We both agreed this is a great opportunity for Kyle Larson to snap his shocking 28 race winless streak. He's pulling double duty. Should be a fun one. Be sure to check that video out if you missed it. We've got a lot of news to get to today. Let's start with the breaking news this morning. Hendrick Motorsports announced that Alex Bowman will miss this weekend's race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Justin Allgaier will drive the number 48 instead. Team president Jeff Andrews said, quote, "Alex continues to work closely with doctors towards being medically cleared, but he's still experiencing some lingering symptoms. He's put a lot into the recovery process, and we will continue to support him every step of the way." My reaction, first and foremost, hoping Alex can get back to 100% sooner rather than later. Getting healthy is the top priority. Yes, you look at the points, missing Las Vegas could end Alex Bowman's chase hopes this year. He's 77 points out of a chase spot right now. That number will likely be close to the triple digits by the end of the weekend. 100 points, trying to make all that up in 20 weeks. Alex is a good driver. Hendrick is a great team. That is going to be difficult. I know it's extremely frustrating, especially when you consider this is a contract year for Alex Bowman. It always feels like something health-related gets in this man's way. It was a concussion that helped end a promising playoff run in 2022. It was a back injury that cost him in 2023. He missed the playoffs that year. And now in 2026, a contract year being clouded by vertigo symptoms. Bowman will miss his second straight race. I feel for the guy. I hope he's able to get healthy just for his own sake, beyond just driving race cars. Like, that does not sound fun whatsoever. Wishing Alex nothing but the best. Turning our attention, though, to the racetrack. The 48 car will be on track this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Interesting decision by Hendrick to put Justin Allgaier behind the wheel instead of Anthony Alfredo. Alfredo stepped in at Phoenix, did okay, I suppose, but got caught up in a wreck late. I guess I am surprised by this move because Anthony Alfredo is literally Hendrick Motorsports' sim and reserve driver. Like, it is his job to be ready for instances like this. He literally fit into Alex Bowman's fire suit last weekend. I don't know, were they that upset with him spinning out LeVar Scott in the O'Reilly Series race? Like, why the pivot? And this is nothing against Justin Allgaier. I think there's an argument to be made that Justin Allgaier is the better all-around driver. He's certainly the more experienced stock car racer. You know, he's 10, 15 years older than Anthony Alfredo. He's more accomplished. He's won dozens of O'Reilly races. He's a series champion. I'm not trying to knock Allgaier at all. And there's a real possibility Hendrick studied the data and said, hey, Justin Allgaier gives us the best shot of having a top 10, top 15 run. You know, I mentioned how Alex Bowman's driver's points position is now somewhat bleak. The owner's points are what still pay the bills, and the 48 is still on track collecting owner's points. So putting someone behind the wheel who may be able to do more than just log laps and stay out of trouble could pay off for Hendrick Motorsports in the long run. I was surprised, though, because I thought Anthony Alfredo, I thought this was literally his job, was to step up in these situations. And while he didn't blow anyone away at Phoenix, I felt like it made sense to give him another shot at Las Vegas. But nope, it's Justin Allgaier this week behind the wheel of the 48. You know, I guess it's not unheard of to use someone besides your reserve driver. Like Hendrick, back in, 2023, they put Corey LaJoie in the 9 car at Gateway, and he was not their reserve or sim driver that year. So I guess this isn't the first time something like this has happened. It's still just a little odd, a little surprising, I'd say. Again, I'm wishing Alex Bowman the best. This has to be unbelievably frustrating, first from a physical, personal standpoint, but also from a professional standpoint, knowing how much is at stake this year, being sidelined like this. Unbelievably frustrating. Wishing Alex nothing but the best. Brad Keselowski substituted for Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the Dale Jr. Download podcast this week. I want to talk about that in just a moment. First, though, I read a story on J-Ski written by Dustin Albino. Great story, a focus on Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez, O'Reilly Series driver, won an O'Reilly Series race last year, driving for Big Machine Racing, made the playoffs, but then in December, middle of the offseason, the team pivoted and told Nick Sanchez they would be signing Dr. Patrick Starpoli to drive their car instead. This move left Nick Sanchez scrambling in the middle of the offseason. He wound up signing with AM Racing just a couple weeks before the season began. Nick Sanchez gave his honest thoughts on the situation in this story, which I'll link down below, but I'll read this quote. Sanchez said, "It was a business decision. At the end of the day, these race teams don't fund themselves. It would be ignorant of me to be mad. I surely wasn't happy, but I understand it. It's a business and someone came in with a bigger check. He's probably a great guy, but I know he doesn't have the credentials or capability that I have as a race car driver." Oh man, Nick was taking the high road and then at the last minute decided to exit here. Brutally honest, but I get where he's coming from. Dr. Patrick Staropoli is 36 years old. I think he was once considered a fairly promising up-and-coming racer, but he put a lot of his racing career to the side to obviously go to medical school and become now a retina surgeon. He's done some ARCA, some trucks, a few spot starts here the last few years. Obviously a very smart guy and a fascinating story, but you don't need an eye doctor to see that Nick Sanchez, to his point, has the stronger resume. I like that Nick doesn't really seem to hold a grudge against Big Machine. It is a business after all, and it's hard to make the dollars and cents add up in the O'Reilly Series in particular. Starpoli had sponsorship. The team needed that. I get it, but yeah, it kind of sucked to see a playoff caliber up-and-coming young driver like Nick Sanchez get the shaft just a few days before Christmas, left scrambling again to ultimately find a deal with AM Racing, which I don't think AM Racing has all that much this year. They're like the only Ford team in the O'Reilly Series. They don't have an alliance with Haas anymore. I mean, we've already seen, like at Phoenix, they had electrical issues like 10 laps into the race. Like Nick Sanchez, I'm not sure he's driving anything good over there this year, so that is a shame. I'm not rooting against Dr. Patrick Staropoli. 4 races in, I think he's 17th in points. That's not bad. But like, even now with AM Racing, Nick Sanchez has a 3rd place finish this year. He already has a top 5 on his resume for this year. Staropoli's best finish, I think, is 13th. So, I mean, I think Patrick Staropoli's fine. I think he'll be okay, but he's not Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez had this team contending for wins in the playoffs. That won't be Dr. Patrick Staropoli this year. Nick Sanchez being brutally honest. But what can I say? I guess I agree with him. But we'll see. It's a long season. We'll see how the doctor progresses. Now let's talk about Brad Keselowski. I've become a big Brad fan the past few years especially. I don't agree with all of his takes. Like I didn't agree with his road course take a couple weeks back. But I do think he is genuinely one of the most thoughtful guys in the NASCAR garage. I think what he's done at RFK Racing the past few years has been commendable. He's changed the culture there. I think that was necessary to adapt to this new modern era of racing. He appeared again on the Dale Jr. Download, actually hosted the Dale Jr. Download this week. I guess Dale Jr. is on vacation. And honestly, the first hour or so of this show was one of the strongest hours of NASCAR content I have listened to this year. And I do consume a ton of NASCAR content beyond just what I put out on the internet daily myself. A lot of interesting stories, some great observations, a couple of spicy takes here and there. But one section that stood out to me the most was when Brad Keselowski compared the old playoff format to the new championship format. I'll link the full show down below. He says in this episode, though, that several years ago, he went to NASCAR and told them he thought the playoff format was bad for the sport. He then said that Back during his time at Team Penske, when he would win a couple races early in the year, lock into the playoffs, he said that by mid-season, the team would allocate preferred cars, preferred motors to other drivers at Penske to ensure everyone made the playoffs. Brad said, quote, "So you found yourself in the middle of the season, we'd be at Pocono or whatever, and you'd be like, I got the engine with less power, I've got the body with less downforce, I'm 15th in practice, I'm probably going to run 10th if I do everything right, I'm already in the playoffs, like, what the hell am I doing here?" That was an eye-opening segment right there. And what he's talking about there, teams allocating resources differently, like we all kind of know that happens, I guess, but like to hear him spell it out so bluntly was still kind of eye-opening. I mean, we remember even before the win you're in knockout round playoffs, like it was kind of understood that like Jimmy and Chad would build a huge lead early, then they'd kind of experiment over the summer, and then once the chase began, they were unstoppable. Like that kind of stuff always happened, especially in the chase or playoff era. It's probably still happening to some degree today, but hearing Brad talk about it openly there was fascinating in my opinion. And honestly, what he's saying there about how the big teams might transfer resources differently midseason, it only makes Kyle Larson's 2021 season look even more amazing. Like he was still winning all those races when perhaps Hendrick was trying to give his teammates a bit of a boost. Like that's crazy. Although I think like half of Larson's wins that year actually came in the playoffs. So maybe that's not the best example. Oh, Kevin Harvick 2020 is a better example. That was Stuart Haas. He had 9 wins on the season. I think 7 of them came in the regular season. So, I mean, Harvick and Rodney Childers were just relentless all spring, all summer. They did not care. But anyway, I'm off base. Back to the basis of Brad's playoffs criticism there. He's preaching to the choir. I was never a win and you're in fan. And Brad is perfectly outlining one of the many pitfalls of that format. Regular points still mattered a little bit in the regular season under the old format, but the emphasis was on winning, stage wins, stacking playoff points. For mid-pack teams, it was win and get in. One win could save your mediocre season. And every year we saw at least one, usually a couple, mediocre drivers win their way into the playoffs. That battle for 12th at Kansas in May didn't mean all that much in the big picture. If you wrecked racing for 12th, got wrecked, you're a little frustrated, you're a little upset, but big picture, the ramifications were minimal. As long as you got that win, you're in the playoffs, and if you win multiple races, you're going to be one of the top seeds. That's Brad Keselowski's point, and it's been my point all along as to why I was never a fan of win and you're in. When NASCAR was deliberating, discussing changing the playoff format, I had 2 main requests. One, get rid of the season finale, one race, winner take all, forced tiebreaker, get rid of that. But 2, get rid of win and you're in. Simplify the regular season. NASCAR did both, which is why by and large I've been very positive about this new format thus far. You still get that 10-race run at the end of the season that has the potential to build some excitement, but now the regular season, every race matters more. That Pocono race in the middle of the summer, 10th place, if you can get 10th, that's big. Whereas to Brad's point back in the day, if you already had a win, finishing 10th versus 15th versus 20th at Pocono in June, not that big a deal. I think what this new format has done is it now places greater scrutiny on every point, every position during the regular season. But then sure, the final 10 races now are a little less volatile. But honestly, I think that balance is much healthier. So that's why so many in and around the industry, I think, have endorsed this new format, including Brad in this podcast. His critique of the old playoff format, really specifically that win and you're in section, fully resonated with me, and I think resonated with a lot of fans as well. Some folks loved win and you're in. I would hear it. I understand it. I get it. There were some fun moments, like when Tony Stewart won at Sonoma in 2016 to make the playoffs. Like that was kind of exciting. I remember. I think it was William Byron in was that 2021 maybe? He won the regular season finale at Daytona. He was right on the bubble coming in. Like that was kind of an exciting moment, sure, but too many times a mid-pack team would win a race, struggle the rest of the year, and would take up a chase spot from someone who honestly felt a bit more deserving. Now that problem is gone. I'm in favor of it. It sounds like Brad is as well. Did you listen to Brad Keselowski's appearance on the Dale Jr. Download? What stood out to you? Let me know down in the comment section below. That's all I've got for today. Again, if you're looking ahead to Las Vegas, check out the latest video on my channel. Ryan and I broke everything down. Appreciate you watching this episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR day in, day out. Really appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your afternoon, folks. I will talk to you again soon. Take care.